it worked.
Way.
Fine.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to Monday Night Paranormal Live with myself and Jenny, Paul from Host for Ghosts, Angela South Coast Ghosts, Paula in the middle, Luke on the left, and Abnormal Paranormal, Ben and Dave in the bottom right, according to my picture. But you never know, we might end up swapping over. Dave, this week we're going to talk about a Friday night investigation we had at a Masonic lodge. Myself and Angela were there to do some spiritual readings, and then it went into a paranormal investigation straight after. The boys did a house and a graveyard at Halloween, so they'll run us through that. Luke, what did you get up to?
I was watching a dancing skeleton. Pub.
Seriously, you need to get out more, mate. Honestly, we need to find you a girlfriend, Luke, so you get out. And Paula, what did you get up to over Halloween? Anything?
I went to St Paul's Cathedral. That was great. William had a bit of spirit there, actually. One of the one of the statues, actually, his eyes was following him.
Ooh.
Oh wow!
Yeah. So yeah, that was on Friday, coming back from the train on the train to Victoria.
Wow.
So, yeah, amazing.
So we'll talk about that in a bit. We were talking about last week if spirit can manipulate pictures. You know, you take a picture and you think they're in there. When you go back, they're not there. And Graham sent an EVP in, which is a really good EVP, which I don't know whether anybody's heard it and what their take is on it. But Luke, have you heard it?
Not yet, I don't think.
You need to listen to it.
Yeah.
You need to sort of stay on with it, Luke, so you're up to date with it. But it's a good recording.
Yeah.
Really interesting. Yeah. So, have you heard it, boys? Have you listened to it?
No, I don't think we have. No.
It's a really good recording. He does 2 recordings right on top of each other. And he was asking me what I could hear in there because he thinks he can hear someone. I think, did you listen to him, Angela?
Is that the one where sometimes he hears one thing and then another time he hears it say something slightly different?
Something slightly different.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a really strange recording, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I've only been able to hear the one thing every time. So I don't know why he can hear something different and no one else can. That's really weird.
Yeah, I mean, if I listened to it very carefully, what it is, I think he was at Lagershall Castle again. He seems to go back there a lot. And he come across these people walking a dog. And he was doing his normal recordings and in the castle and around, and he was talking to these people. And he said to them, "Oh, it's a lovely dog." And when he listened back to the recording, was it "Have a nice day"? Something had changed.
Something like that, yeah.
It like gone from "What a lovely dog" to "Have a nice day" in the recording. He knows and when you listen to it, it's really difficult. But when I listen to it, I can actually hear a mumbling in the background, like someone's trying to talk in the background, like a mumble. And when I said it back to Graham, I listened to it again and again and again, and there's like a mumble in the background as he says, "Oh, what a lovely dog." You hear like someone's trying to say something to him. But he says it says "Have a nice day" or "It's a nice day" or something. I couldn't quite hear them words, but I could hear like someone trying to talk in the background behind him. So
yeah, I can hear "How nice is that, eh?" And then he can hear "Have a nicer day."
Yeah. But it changed from "How lovely the dog is" to that on the recording. So I don't know what you make of that. Anybody?
Yeah, good evidence. Yeah.
You know, it's like we were saying last week, wasn't it, about spirit? Say again?
Could be something to do with time again.
Yeah. Well, I was looking on online today. There's a guy doing a talk up in Aldgate in London on time slips.
Oh, yeah.
So it's £5.50 a ticket, well, £5.50p, whatever. But he's talking about time slips. you know, and how these things happen and appear, and people's experience. He reckons he's got over like 30 odd stories of people that have been in time slips.
Wow.
Like these two women he talks about, they went to this certain garden somewhere, and then when they got there, they were sort of chatting amongst each other, and then suddenly when they looked around, it's like they'd gone back to the 1800s. The garden was different. People walking in the garden were differently dressed from when they first got there, and they were there for like 5 minutes and then came back to normal time, and when there was only just them two in the garden and nobody else. And he talks about how people have these experiences of time slip. So I might drag myself along there. It's a bit of a nightmare to get to Aldgate in London, but I might drag myself along there and talk to him, you know, about my friend that had that time slip, wasn't it, or time travel, and see what he makes of that. But interesting subject, time slip. That's a bit of a passion of mine, like time travel. You know, I like to read lots about it. So anyway, Friday night's investigation, myself and Angela. Well, we went to the spiritual church to do readings for people, myself and Jenny, which was okay. One reading was good, the other one was a bit difficult, but there you go. You're always going to run into a difficult sitter. And after we had a bit of a break, coffee and tea, and then we went into the paranormal investigation at the same place. So it's a Masonic lodge. I won't name where it was. Quite an active place. You know, it's quite tapping and knocks and bits and pieces. But we went into the main hall, like out the back is like I don't know what they call it. It's the main hall anyway, where they all sit. And some went upstairs, some went downstairs. And it's not a very massive venue. Angela will tell you a bit about it. It's not a massive venue, but I think it's 15, 20 people at the most, wasn't it, Angela? Something like that.
Yeah, it's about 20 people.
So it's sort of everybody dived off to their favourite places because a few of them had been on it before. So I went into the main hall with a group of probably 6 or 7, Angela, maybe 8, maybe. I don't think it was more than that, really.
They kept coming and going.
Going in and out, weren't they? You sort of ask for a noise and then the door would open. You think, oh my God, the door's open. And then somebody said, sorry, come in. Wouldn't it? And they were like, oh, really? That type of activity.
It was, yeah.
So it's quite funny, wasn't it? Because you're ching ching as the keys rattled. Can you make a noise? We're going. And then ching ching as the door open. You're like, listen, there's a door open. Oh, sorry, can I come in? Yeah, of course you can. So it was a bit like that. It was a bit hit and miss on some of it. But we had a laser grid spread all over the staging area near the chairs. And a few times the laser grid was changing, wasn't it, Angela? It like had a dark spot here and then a light spot there and a dark spot here, a light spot. And it was really difficult to get. You know, when you're looking at a laser grid and things are moving in it, aren't they? And you keep looking at these things moving in the laser, you know, and then we had a few taps, not much activity in there really, to be honest, but up on the stage when we were, I don't know how long I've been in there. So we took the SLS camera in there and one of the guests was sitting on a chair slightly off to our right hand side. Yeah. And she kept saying she could feel someone sitting down by the side of her. And then so we put the SLS camera there, and sure enough, there was a spirit sitting next to her. And even I walked down there, put my hand in it, was absolutely freezing, really cold around her. And then, a little while after that, I think Angela must have got up and gone or whatever. We were in there, and suddenly on the stage, to the right-hand side of the chair, the green laser lights were blocked out. There was no lights there, even though they were there.
Strange.
And then we stood there and we're looking at it thinking, well, where's the lights gone then? But we never saw a shadow. It was just completely blocked out. So we're looking there and I'm thinking, there's someone on the stage. There's someone standing there, because you could see the way the lights, the laser lights, were distorted, like in a shape. And I could see this man standing there in completely white robes and quite a tall white hat holding a stick on the stage. And I'm like, looking at it. I didn't say anything. I thought, wait, see if anybody else could see it. And I'm looking, thinking, he's standing there looking in a white robe and a tall hat and his stick. And the bloke next to me said, I don't want to seem silly, but is there anybody on the stage? I said, no, shine your light on and you can have a look. Shone the light, obviously nobody there. Turn the light off, wait a few seconds for your eyes to adjust to the dark.
Yeah.
He said, there's someone standing there. And I said, where do you see him then? And he said, to the right of the chair, they're white with a tall hat and a stick, aren't they? And I hadn't said anything to him because obviously sometimes you can suggest something and someone go, oh yeah, I can see that, you know. And then the woman, I think it might have been his wife or his girlfriend, she went, is that a real person on the stage? I said, where are you seeing that? She said, to the right of the chair. Look, it's a man in white. And so that's 3 different people, and I hadn't said anything. And then we watched it for about a few minutes. It was just standing there, literally looking at us, thinking, oh, you know, and I'm saying to him, can you calm down? Can you, touch one of us? And the normal sort of stuff you try and get them to interact. And then a couple of people came in the door and they said, oh, what are you looking at? We didn't say. We said, can you see anything up in them laser lights? And they were looking and they said, who's on the stage then to the right of the chair? Who's in white? And they actually saw him as they came in 5 minutes after we had seen him.
Wow.
Couldn't see a feature, like he was quite dark in the face and feature, but you could see he was in a white robe with a white hat and he's holding this stick in front of him, literally just staring. And then, because we were like all looking at each other going, oh, all right, okay. And this bloke said, I'm going to try and take a picture. I said, yeah, go for it. Take a picture. I took a picture. And when he came back, you could see like a blurry figure in the lights. So he went, oh, I think I've got something, And then he was showing and somebody said, where? He said, there, look. And when he looked back at it, it had gone. It just had the green lights in it.
Wow.
Unreal. And I saw the blurry figure in the picture because it was distorted the green lights. And when I said to him, let me have a look, oh, maybe, we need to zoom in. And when we looked back, it was just the green lights there. But 4, 5, 6 of us individuals saw this man in white up on the stage. Unreal. Absolutely unreal. And people to come in and say, who's standing on the stage then? Because a lot of times they're not very quiet when they come in. The door opens and ting ting and bang and crash and people tripping over the steps and it's not really a subtle entrance, where you're quietly joining an investigation. It's crash when people tripped over the steps and that's all. It's quite funny, really. You got to laugh, bless them. And then we had that. And then, was you there, Angela, when they turned the laser lights out?
I was there when they kept going dim. They kept sort of going dimmer and dimmer.
And the next time we went back in, I went out and put a fresh battery and came back in and said, Spirit, are you still here with us? And the lights sort of flickered. So we thought, okay, can you turn the lights out? Bang, instantly turn the laser lights out. And I'm like, well, that's a new battery. How can that be? And so I know, I said to this bloke, I'm going to try and see if they turn them on. Spirit, can you turn the lights back on for me? And on they came. We're like, oh my God. And it was to command. So it was all little bits and pieces like that, really. And then in the end, we did a human pendulum at the end. How weird was that, Angela?
Well, that was scary.
That was scary, wasn't it?
Yeah, I've never seen anyone go like that before.
It was all, I didn't know much about it, to be honest.
No.
We were doing a human pendulum and I was standing on the stage filming it with my new camera. And then I could see what an energy going around the circle. Because what you've got to remember, there's a lot of women in a men-only room, because the Masonic Lodge is just men only.
That's right. So
to aggravate it, you put women in the room and it's not happy, was it, Angela? It was not happy.
No.
So I'm standing on the stage and these women are calling out, who are you? What are you? And they kept saying, he wants to talk to a man. He wants to talk to a man.
Yeah,
But none of the men in the circle would come forward, would they, and say anything?
No, a lot of the women were getting pushed and pulled and had their arms going up in the air and everything. It was
Yeah.
really...
So they were getting their legs knocked. Hi, Daniel.
Yeah.
So they were getting their legs knocked from under them. Their arms were being lifted up in the air while they're holding their hands. He's really agitated, this man. And as I was standing there, I could see him going round the circle, and he was going round faster and faster. So he was getting really, really agitated, you know, because he wanted to speak to a man, and all these women were asking questions.
Mm.
And because none of the men would go forward, I said, all right, I'll do it. I'll have to get in there because I can see him going to create a problem here because he's getting more and more agitated. So as soon as I went into the circle, bang, he took me over straight away, literally. And I can't remember the conversation, but the lady, Angela, do you remember what happened? Because I don't remember any of it. I just remember thinking, and he was in me straight away.
Well, I remember bits of it. The first thing he did was kind of like a really loud shh. And that's when I thought, that's not Paul. Paul wouldn't do it like go shh like that, but not like aggressive shushing of people. And then there was one woman to the right of me, and she was trying to ask questions, and he was saying, I don't want to speak to you, or I'm not going to answer you or something. And I think you'd only answer questions from, was it Sarah?
Yeah.
Was running it. Yeah, I think she was asking questions.
Tracy.
Oh, Tracy, that was it, yeah.
Yeah.
And you'd respond to her, but not to the others. You would just keep shushing them and saying, why are you here and what do you want? And that we shouldn't be there and all that kind of stuff. And it was really sort of aggressive and scary. It's like, yeah, that's definitely not Paul in the middle. I don't know who that is, but
there's that one lady said to me at the end, I was stood there and I was looking at her, and she said, your face actually changed. It was long, thin, and you looked so angry. She said, I was so scared that you were going to come at me.
It was just dark. Even when you turned and faced my way, I couldn't see anything on your face. It was just totally dark. And that wasn't particularly friendly.
No. So that's generally, I think that's what's called trance mediumship, isn't it? Where they actually come into you and they take over you. So you become their facial habits. Because apparently somebody said I was walking around dragging my leg.
Yeah.
You know, somebody said, oh, you got a problem with your leg? And I'm like, no, my leg's all right. They said, no, you're dragging your leg along the floor. I said, no, my legs are fine. They said, no, you were dragging your leg along the floor like I'd been injured. And I don't remember any of the conversation, only what people said after me after. I knew, I don't know how long I was there. I don't know, 15 minutes, 10 minutes, I don't know.
Minutes, not that long. But
and I just knew I had to get out of that circle. I just knew he was getting so angry. I could feel the rage inside me, thinking, I've got to get out, I've got to get out. And I said, and I got out, didn't I? And I went straight outside, which is unlike me.
Yeah.
As that outside saying, you go. I don't want you near me anymore. Get out of me. Go. You stay away from me. So I don't know. I don't remember any of that conversation, shushing people or anything like that. So whoever he was obviously very angry, very aggressive. But I've got to look back. All the time I had the video running because I got off from and left the video running. So I'm going to try and play it back and see if it's caught me doing whatever it was this bloke was. What was his name, Andrew? Did he say his name?
No, I don't think we got a name. I don't remember a name.
I don't know, but that was quite creepy. People saying, oh God, you know, I thought you were gonna, and this lady said, oh, you know, you came looking at me quite close and your face was just completely changed. It was so scary. I said, oh, I wouldn't do anything to harm you. But it wasn't you. That was not you. That was someone else there. So that was quite a scary thing.
Yeah. Did you get rid of him in the end? Did you get rid of him in the end?
I walked outside in the car park and said, you got to go. Leave me. You do not belong to me. I'd already grounded myself anyway, so I knew I was protected. But what I didn't want to do was for him to come home with me.
No, sorry.
So I went straight out in the fresh air and said, you got to go. You've got to leave me. I do not want you here. You do not follow me home. this is where you belong. You stay here. And I got in the car, and Jen said, "Are you all right? Is he gone?"
Yeah, but she was worried.
She said he was so nasty.
Yeah.
She said, "It's so horrible. She said, hope you ain't bringing him home." I said, "No, he's gone." And I was all right because I'd grounded myself and got rid of him. But by all accounts, people were saying to me, Tracy messaged me and said, "Oh my God," she said, "you were just a completely different person." She said, "I've never seen anybody like that." So that was really interesting, really. But it's like him taking over me straight away. As soon as I'd gone in a circle, I thought, I took a breath and I thought, oh, and then I don't remember anymore after that. So he was obviously waiting.
Yeah.
And I think maybe one of the guests' men had gone in there. I think we might have had a problem.
Yeah, I think so.
Because it, like Andrew said, it was quite scary. Lots of people saying how scary it was.
Especially if you got somebody that is weak. Do you know what I mean? In that circle, if that's not a good thing, not a strong person, then you won't get them off. Do you know what I mean? Get attached.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't know why. I just thought I need to get in this because this bloke's going to cause a problem going around the circle, and he literally was like knocking people's legs, lifting their arms up, wasn't he, Angela? Pushing them forward, pulling them backwards. So he's obviously didn't want the women in there.
No.
And he was trying to make a point of it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So it was mightily strange to have that.
Unless it was that bloke that you saw on the stage, the white hat and the blah blah. You don't know, do you?
I don't know who he was. So I don't. I don't remember the conversation. I remember going outside thinking to myself, "What am I doing out here?" Okay. And then thought, "I need to do something here, so I need to get rid of this." And it was just like, had the conversation outside on my own in the fresh air, which is often a good place to do. And I just seemed to come back, and I thought, "Oh, right, okay. Oh, I'm in the car park. Okay, I need to go back in and see if everybody's all right." And I didn't realise I was actually in the car park until I'd sort of come back. He'd gone. And Jim was saying, "Oh, I hope you ain't brought him home."
Yeah.
Had to do the prayer. Had to do the prayer on you.
Yeah, Satan. Are you finished?
No, it's just 10-minute break.
All right. So that was quite a scary moment on that Friday night.
What was that?
When I got in the circle.
Oh God, yeah.
Angela was just saying.
Oh my God. Hello. Hello. So I'm doing an online Zoom thing at the minute. Yeah, no, that was. I said to Paul, "Here, don't bring that bloke home with you."
No.
Yeah, it was quite scary.
Yeah, Angela was saying it was just very odd. I don't remember the conversation.
Yeah. He said to me, didn't you, when you came into the circle, it sort of went like that.
Straight, it was straight on there.
Yeah.
It was quite
but it's funny you should say, I felt like the energy was getting kind of like aggravated or angry or whatever.
Well, like Angela was saying, it's a very strange atmosphere in there.
Yeah.
Because he didn't want the women in there either.
Yeah.
And that sort of agitated him even more.
Yeah.
But strange, a very strange.
Yeah.
Very strange coming, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't show our messy bedroom.
That was a strange. So, how's Daniel then? How did your trip to America go?
It went very, very well, but we got back on Saturday and I'm very, very tired.
Oh, bless you. Wait till you have to start working for a living.
Yeah.
Yeah, say it was just nice to kind of get a week away, and then kind of, it was just pleasantly nice over there, and then kind of we then flew back from Orlando to Chicago, or Chicago to London Heathrow, and then we were in 3 different time zones, and then the clocks went back Saturday night in the US. So we have no idea where we are, and
I bet
all over the place.
Yeah, but apart from that, it went kind of very, very well. And kind of straight back into the fire, dealing with all kind of the conference stuff.
Nice. And is that going all right? Everything going well with that?
So I would have been on here on time, but I was on a 3-hour meeting with all of our organisers, sorting all kind of bits and bobs out, and just kind of starting to build the pieces now to try and get everyone in line and ready to kind of announce the last few things we've got. And then from December onwards, we're then going to look at start doing our promotional plan for going on the news and doing stuff like that. So yes, we are kind of well on our way. And say when someone said we only have 5 months and a half left, that kind of right to me.
That's not long. That's not long. I just thought I'd add to that. That's not long. You lose 2 or 3 weeks over Christmas, so you got less than that.
And especially because I'm now year 11, my exams are in May, so I'm doing my top exams, my leaving school exams in the same month as I am doing my conference.
So, that should go well then.
Good planning there.
So we're planning to kind of finish the actual planning side by end of March, beginning of April, and then it gives me time to kind of prepare, and then it possibly looks like I'm off to Cannes Film Festival in the middle of May, and I'm like, this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous.
How many weeks in May? About 12.
I hope so, Paul. I hope the days go very, very slow. I may be like a zombie at the conference, especially with it being 3-day. I may be all right on the Friday night, but then I'll just go. Oh, do you know what? Just do whatever you want.
It'll flow, mate. It'll flow. People will flow, won't it?
Yeah. Are you doing your mocks at the moment? Are you doing your mocks at the moment? Are you? I'm
doing kind of because I'm not actually in school at this current moment. So I'm doing kind of past exams at home. So I'm just kind of working my way through that, and then say they actually have their proper mocks in about 2-3 weeks time. So kind of we're I'm just trying to catch up and then run this conference at the same time, which is fun.
William's doing his mocks at the moment as well, so you're in the same year as him, so he knows what it feels like. Stress time, isn't it?
Yes, yeah, it is. And say something that I am going to mention though. I am chat with Dave before I went to Florida, didn't I?
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
So I believe, are you guys going to be at the conference?
Yes, we are.
Definitely. Yeah.
Brilliant. So I think they're going to have a table and be as a vendor, and say we can't wait to have you guys.
Yeah,
brilliant.
Sounds good. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks.
More than welcome. Although I warn you, please stay away from both Paul and Angela. Oh, sorry, Angela's all right. Just away from the first one.
That's uncalled for. I'm going to have it in for you now. So you shouldn't have done that. That's a very dangerous thing to do.
You're not as tall as I thought you would be, so I'm.
Don't you worry, I can still sit on your head. I can still let your tyres down.
I may be smaller. I'm taller than my mum, but I can squeeze it into tight spaces. So
you squeeze into your mum's tights. Is that what you just said? I hope you didn't say that on live on air, Daniel.
I'm too tired to kind of play along with
yeah,
the jokes.
there's plenty of time. There's plenty of time.
Shut
Don't worry. That's good. Right. Ooh. Just on the move. So, boys, you're going to the conference, are you? Were you going all 3 days, or?
Yes, yeah. So we're going to sort that out with Daniel. Yeah.
So give me a call, Dave, after you finish, and I'll reply to that message.
Brilliant. Yeah, that's fine.
So I believe you guys are doing kind of the podcast side. So Angela and Paul, do you remember we had Josh and Ed do kind of the podcast side of stuff? So that's what I'm going to have these guys do. But because Josh and Ed are going to be running a merchandise table, their own kind of, and then they're going to be filming some of the conference. So I'm gonna have them doing both. So that leaves you two to kind of take on that job.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah.
What job? What are you voting us for? Hang on a minute. Back up a minute. Rewind. What are you volunteering us for?
Nothing.
Everything.
Let me just say, Paul, that I will be monitoring every film camera that is round the conference.
Really?
I will watch your interview. I can trust Angela, and I can trust the boys.
Hang on a minute. Why can you trust Angela? She's more than me. She's worse than I am.
No.
I think we're being stitched out, Angela. We'll have to have it out with him on the day. Drag him outside to the bike sheds or something.
Angela. Why are you not standing up for me? It's just ridiculous.
Hi, dear. Good afternoon from Las Vegas, Jennifer Andrews. Welcome to Monday Night Paranormal Live. If you have any questions or anything you want to send in, please send them in, and we'll try and answer the questions. We have Daniel here from Mythical Legends, Abnormal Paranormal, Ben and Dave. Luke in the middle with his haunted dolls that keeps touching him on the head. Myself, Paul, and G from Coast to Coast. Angela from South Coast to Coast, and Paul are one of our investigators at the top. So we're just generally chatting about Friday night investigation, which took a bit of a strange turn later in the evening. So, boys,
sounds like it.
That was a really strange, wasn't it, Angela? It took on a bit of a turn, really. But don't worry, Daniel, I'll bring him with me so you can meet him.
Luke, can you possibly split that doll into Paul's bed, please?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't need a doll in my bed, mate. I live in a haunted house anyway, so I don't need anything else coming in. What are common cryptids in England, Daniel? There you go. There's one for you, for Jennifer Andrews.
So, kind of, it depends what your class is cryptid. So, if you're thinking you're more physical, what's the word? Either beings or creatures, you would be looking more at kind of your Bigfoot, Dogman, that kind of stuff. And then you have kind of your paranormal is a word that I don't like to use a lot because paranormal kind of covers a massive umbrella. So sometimes UFOs can be put into paranormal, sometimes Bigfoot can be put in paranormal, and so I think if you're looking more on the big side, I can say that it's not. You don't get one every weekend, but there are sightings around the UK. I would say the most, if I'm using cryptids as every kind of thing, including paranormal, I would probably say ghosts is the most common witness report. If you're classing all of that as cryptids, if you're not, then I would possibly say you're looking at Bigfoot being your second kind of actual physical cryptid, I think.
Hope that answered your question. I watched a program yesterday called the UFO abduction in Manhattan. Has anybody seen that?
I've seen bits of it, yeah.
really interesting, isn't it? How they had so many people witness her come out the window and go to the spaceship, and yet the government still denied it, didn't they? They said no, 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 and then the Men in Black turned out. It's really interesting, because obviously UFOs come under the supernatural, don't they? All that type of thing. But it's really, really interesting. If you get a chance, watch it. It's really interesting about this woman's what happened to her and other people, and how the sightings appear and then disappear, and amazing, really, really. Right, boys, you had an investigation at the weekend. How'd you get on?
Yeah, so on Halloween night, we went to a very old church, a 14th century Grade 1 church in Somerset, which is known to be very eerie, very haunted.
Quite a lot of stories there.
Yeah, a lot of history, I think, there. And we just tested out usual methods, K2 meters, REM pods, and we had it all going off. But the weirdest thing was, remember last week, Paul, we spoke about the flower method. You spoke about that, remember?
Yeah.
We had it with the leaves, obviously autumn at the moment.
Yeah.
Leaves on the ground. The amount of footsteps in that church graveyard grounds was unbelievable. Unbelievable. It was brilliant, really good. But the weirdest thing, so when we were leaving, we were walking down the side of the church on the way out, and I just had it pop into my head. I thought, I reckon there's a tunnel here that links somewhere. So we got in the car, and someone I know called me up and was talking to me, and I said, "Oh, we've just been to the church," and then she goes to me, "Oh, do you know there's a tunnel that runs to the local pub?" Yeah. I could believe it. I thought, I just picked up on it in my head, and then she said it on the phone call. It was just, it blew my mind, really. But
a lot of them tunnels are priest holes. They call them priest holes, where they would escape. When Cromwell and all his army were after them, they had priest holes which would be in the church and out and come into a field where they could get away, or a river. When the Cromwell was on his march.
Yeah. So, can I ask, where's this church?
In Yatton village. Okay. Yeah, very old. Yeah, very old village.
Okay.
Yeah, St. Mary's Church is called. But it's very.
What's the history of the village?
It's a very medieval village. Yeah.
Church is 14th century.
Yeah, there's just a lot of. If you searched up, there's a lot of history on Yatton. And it connects to local villages like Cleve, like Claverham. A lot of the churches around there, very, very old. Like we're talking, some of them 12th century, 12th, 14th century. Yeah.
Because opposite where we were Friday, there's a graveyard called the Doomsday Graveyard.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the first ever graveyard mentioned in a Doomsday book.
Oh, wow.
That's how old that graveyard is.
Did you do anything in there?
No, we didn't get a chance to go over there, really, because I'd been at work all day, rushed home, got showered and changed, and rushed straight back out again. So, but we may well go over there if ever you're interested. I have been there last year with a group. It was an really interesting place because the footpath is in a cross.
Okay.
So it makes a cross in the graveyard. Actually, the footpath. So really interesting place. So we will probably go back there at some stage. What else did you get?
Well, basically that was just a lot of different activity. Like the REM pods were going off when we were calling out. There's also one of my friends I know. He lived in the village. He grew up there, so he kind of told us a few stories that people used to say, and it said that a lady in grey actually fell off the top of the church back in, what was that, the 15th, 16th century. So she died there, and it said that you can actually hear her crying and walking around in the graveyard. So whether that was her walking around that we could hear, but we could hear so many footsteps.
Quite a lot.
And when you know that somebody's watching you, you feel that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't need equipment to tell you there's somebody there, do you? It's like I was saying to you last week about using the flour on the floor or the salt. Use your surroundings. There's lots of things there to give away. You going, Daniel?
Bye, Daniel.
See you later. Take care, mate.
Bye.
So, it's always about, whenever you're in a location, it's all about looking around you. What's there? What can I use? What could I use as a trigger object? What about putting something on a headstone, or make the leaves, scruffle a bunch of leaves. So like you say, you could hear footsteps in the leaves, and it's the same as using flour. Some people use all sorts of different things, but it works.
Yeah.
You have to just be patient, and it works.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
like I was saying to you. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, we were using like the surroundings, like putting our REM pod on top of the headstones and stuff, and it was going off. It was really interesting.
But you think there's no energy in the graveyard for the REM pods to go off, or the K2s, is there?
No.
I often do it, like I walk around and do a base measurement. Is there power here? With the K2 or your tri-field meter or whatever. You walk around looking, see if there's any spikes. Generally, you don't get anything in a graveyard, but you might go to one point, because there's a Commonwealth graveyard just down from here.
Yeah,
a lot of the soldiers and pilots were buried down here from the Second World War.
Okay.
So we often go down there, and it's like things that you walk around in there. People must think we're nutters walking around in the dark in a graveyard. I mean, so we walk down there, and there's only certain places you suddenly get a spike in the EMF, and you think, well, how can that be? There's no power, there's no power cables running through a graveyard.
Yeah.
So it's interesting, especially around. We found the activity. This is a good hint for you around, bonfire night with the pops and the bangs. If you're in a Commonwealth graveyard or near, because last year we went over to Kenley, which is a big aerodrome, which was very famous in the Second World War, and we did a bit over there. And when you were there, it's still an active base because they fly army gliders in and out. They practice, but it can also take fighter jets in there if it needed to. And when you were there wandering around, it's like a big circle, and there's a guy that rides his bike round there. He just goes round and round, but looks at you as he goes past. So they're obviously watching you, what you're up to.
Yeah.
And we were there on bonfire night with a bang in and a crash in, and the activity ramped right up when the fireworks were going off. So it may be, bonfire night or the weekend when there's lots of fireworks might be a good time to look for somewhere and see whether you get an increase in activity during that time.
Yeah.
Because, there would have been similar sort of noises during the wartime. Explosions, the bangs, the flashing of the lights of, obviously, the guns firing and all that type of stuff. So, we won't go back there this year because obviously we're busy, but I will go back there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah. So it's another thing to try, isn't it? Go out on bonfire night.
Yes. Yeah.
We did
say that, didn't we, about, like, I think just a general energy, isn't it? Yeah. That maybe it creates.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to do the faults in Portsmouth on bonfire night, whether you get ramped up activity during the bangs and the fireworks and all of that. Whether they think it's gunfire or whatever, and the energy ramps up. So it'd be interesting to do a paranormal night at a fault or a haunted location during that time.
There's an artillery place as well in Bristol, an AA battery.
Right.
Where they had cannons as well. So, yeah, could be a good place.
That's the sort of place if you can get to in the evening when the fireworks are going off at their most, whether you get a lot more activity because it sounds like gunfire. I don't know. But I know at Kenley it ramped right up with K2s going, meters going. We even heard voices from like a tower, you know. And that's where they used to have the Spitfires that entered the Battle of Britain from there. Kenley. It was Kenley, Croydon and Biggin Hill. They were all major part in the Battle of Britain. So, and we went there bonfire night and it really ramped up. the bangs and the crashes and the flashes and all of that at the fireworks. But it's interesting. So
Yeah.
So it's a good place to sort of wander around, and if you're near somewhere and you've got available couple of hours, and the fireworks are going off because it's been Diwali as well, I think. So they fire off even more fireworks during the end of Diwali. So around the end of the month, sort of, it's always a good time to go when bonfire nights. It's quite can be quite active on an airfield, or if you're anywhere near somewhere like that, try and get yourselves along there and see what happens.
Yeah.
So what else were you up to the weekend then?
We investigated the house again.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Haunted house.
How'd you get on?
Really good, yeah. K2's was going off.
Nice.
The piano in the lounge, but obviously it's gone now. It's been sold. And yeah, we put the REM pods down, and it was still going off. K2. We saw orbs as well. Saw a couple orbs, like fly towards the camera.
Yeah, we got quite an interesting video on our page on Facebook.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
Did you see him by eye, or did you see him in the camera?
I saw him on the camera because obviously I was filming it at the time.
Yeah. 2 or 3.
Yeah. But that was really interesting. But like I was saying to you, Paul, I think because I put the REM pod down where the piano used to be, so I think again links in with time. If do they think the piano's still there? And that's they're still playing the piano.
Quite a lot of activity now.
Yeah.
And it was interesting. We put a cat ball down where that old Victorian chair used to sit in the corner as well.
Right.
That ball was going off a lot as well. Yeah. So
lot of energy in the house then.
Oh yeah. I said to Ben as soon as I got in, you walk into the house and you feel like a heavy atmosphere.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you feel like almost like quite dizzy in there.
It doesn't feel empty.
Yeah.
A lot of energy in the house then.
Yes. Yeah, indeed. Yeah.
Did you find it quite draining when you come out?
Yeah. I call it the paranormal hangover the next day.
Yeah. You get a paranormal headache when you've been drained, literally.
Actually in there as well. Yeah.
Yeah. It's drained your energy so much that I normally get a headache for a couple of days after. And they call it the paranormal headache.
Yeah.
Yesterday, after doing Friday night, I had a banging headache yesterday.
Really?
Yeah.
Whatever was there obviously took a lot of the energy. That's why you should always stay hydrated, take a lot of water, drink a lot of water when you're in them situations. Just get you hydrated.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Did you hear any music? Did you ask them to play you a song?
Well, when I played on the spirit box, I had the spirits box on, and there was piano music coming through there. So it does come through like a lot when we're in that place.
A lot of stuff comes through the spirit box as well.
But it's really interesting.
Have you ever thought of playing music on your phone?
We did
like old-fashioned music.
Yeah, we did.
We played Tom Jones the first time.
Yeah, the first time we did play. Obviously, Sarah, the lady who house it is, she said her mum used to love Tom Jones, so we did play a Tom Jones song there, and that kind of ramped up the atmosphere because the K2 started.
Were going off.
I mean, the K2 yesterday were just going up to red. It was really, really heavy energy in that, especially in the living rooms. Really heavy energy.
But that's probably where they would have spent most of their time. Really, would have been in the living room, wouldn't it?
A lot of memories as well.
Yes, yeah. They could be in the fabric of the walls as well. The memories in the walls.
Yeah.
We did actually hear a sound like by where the chair was.
Oh yeah.
We heard like footsteps.
Nice.
Like the floorboards were creaking.
Yeah, and then the cat ball went off right next to it. It was really
nice.
Weird. Yeah. Really, really strange.
For a free location, it was pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, done well there.
Yeah.
You don't often get locations like that free.
No, because we were like you said before, Paul. We're so open every time we go somewhere.
Yeah. And
we couldn't believe the first time we went there.
I thought the second time because the piano was gone. I thought it'd be a bit more quiet, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
But what you got to think is if they're there, is the piano still there? Is the house how it was 60 years ago?
That's what I thought, because we done also another experiment as well. I kept the K2 on the floor where the piano would be, and I said, oh, let's do like a Ouija board session. And we did get Sarah's mum through. It spelt her name, Kitty, on the Ouija board.
Wow.
And the K2 was going up underneath the table. That was going up to red as we were asking questions on there. So it was almost like somebody was stood next to us on the table.
Yeah, quite possibly. Yeah. You know, these are the things you feel. You know, you have all these senses, but your body will tell you whether there's someone standing there. Like you say, you get that feeling of someone watching you, or someone's quite close to you. You know, in your aura, and you feel them. Then you think, oh, what's that? And you're looking around, but you can sense they're there. But the meter will go to red, but it won't tell you where they are in the room.
No. Which is, you know, really interesting to try and find out, but it's difficult, isn't it?
Well, yeah. I mean, we tried that at Waverley Abbey once, didn't we? It started off quite quiet, so we started to play monk music, like chanting. You were there, Angela, weren't you then? And it really changed, didn't it? Just by playing the music, you know, sometimes you just need that trigger object or that trigger sound for spirit to come down and listen. Think, oh, that's music I used to like, or why is that music coming from my house? And then, you know, they'll come and interact, won't they? And it's like it sounds like what you got in the house. What else did you get there?
So obviously we got a lot of things and on the spirit box, really weird because we thought we heard a noise by the boiler in the kitchen. So we were obviously in the lounge area, and then on the spirit box it said boiler. Go to the boiler or something. Yeah, definitely boiler, which was really strange, and it kind of linked in.
Yeah.
So that was very strange, but it's just a lot of energy in there. Just you can feel it, can't you? You know,
are they going to knock the house down then, or is it going to stay there?
So Sarah seems to think they will knock the house down, the new owners, because they basically live a couple of doors up anyway. So they bought that house as well. So she thinks they'll knock that down, which obviously she's obviously upset about.
Yeah, of course, yeah. But you could imagine the new house going up on the land, the problems they could have in there.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
Especially if the house is much loved by, like you say, your friend Sarah, you know, and the grandparents that live there. And he built the house, so there's a lot of love and energy in that house. So if you go tearing it down, spirit don't always like change. You know.
Their keys.
Well, this is similar to the house we're doing in Colchester at the moment. You know, because they knocked down the asylum and built a housing estate. You know, it's a huge issue. Because it doesn't always have to be in the building. You know, it can be in the land. And if there's a lot of energy, a lot of love and whatever into the land and the way the house was built and, you know, and people building it themselves, you know, they'd never want to see change, do they, Spirit? It's like people that do renovations in houses, isn't it? You know, as soon as they start, the problems start. Because Spirit doesn't want it changed. It's okay as it is. And they're not happy with change. You know, a lot of us are like that, aren't we? We don't like change because it's something out of the ordinary.
Well, it's like Sir James, isn't it? Sir James are converting into flats and you know, departments and things like that. So I want to live in that personally.
And is that the prison in Portsmouth?
No, it's Sir James's hospital. It used to be, and it used to be asylum. It used to be mental patients and things like that down there. Do you know what I mean? It's not far from Angela actually, but they're converting that basically into flats and houses and things like that, apartments. So they're doing a lot of work there at the moment. So the point is that I wouldn't want to live on there.
Nah.
I said they get a good deal.
I think you could have a bit of an issue, couldn't you? Really?
Yeah.
You know,
Noel was the same, wasn't it? Noel was the same, isn't it? They've done that there, haven't they?
No,
yeah, it's the same.
Noel
there.
Cemetery, that's a very strange place, isn't it? I've been there a couple of times with Darren. That's a really odd place, isn't it? You know,
you feel like somebody's watching you all the time. There, it's really spooky.
Very much. You're always looking behind you when you're walking, isn't you? You think, and you're sure you see things moving in the trees and in the bushes and the long grass, and you go up to that tree, didn't you? And you get near that tree, and there's just something about that tree. I don't know.
Yeah.
That was the place where I got tapped on the back of the shoulder.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, it was me, Darren, and the kids, and I can't remember who else. And we were, I don't know if we were by that particular tree at the time, but we were sort of at the end of the walkway and then to the left. I think Darren was just talking, sort of explaining something. And then I felt something on my shoulder. And I looked around, I thought, there's no one there. And I looked down, and the kids were there, but they hadn't moved. And I was like, I just felt somebody touch me on the back then. Was that you? Like, no. Like, oh, okay.
Wow.
That's where your dog goes mad, isn't it? That's where your dog went mad, wasn't it? Basically started barking by that tree as well, didn't you tell you? By that I think there was this bit, I'm sure that's what Darren was saying. There's a bit where that tree is, there's actually a grave, and that's where the dog went mad, just started barking, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, that's a strange place. It's called Knoll Cemetery, boys, and it was part of the cemetery for a mental asylum.
Okay.
And when you go there, it's a very odd. You've been there, Luke, ain't you, a few times? What's your take on it, Luke?
Yeah, very strange atmosphere there.
What have you had there?
You can feel the patients wandering, lost in white gowns. That's what I sense there.
And there's always that little boy that runs around, isn't there?
Yeah.
That's looking for his mummy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has a ball, I think.
Yeah.
Yes, I don't say that. Yeah. He's trying to find it.
That photo of the thingy manifesting and then it disappeared from my
Yeah.
photo.
Well, that's like me, wouldn't it? When I took a picture of that grave, because I felt it's weird. Because when I went with Julia and Darren that time, I was walking around and I remember going past where not far from that tree and that grave, and I remember taking a picture at the time. I tried to make the picture at first, and then I did another, and it shut down my camera. It was fully charged, and it just died. My camera just went. It's like it didn't want me to take a picture. But later on, when I went home to have a look at my pictures, there was something on that grave above, something like a shadow type thing, but it would not let me print that picture.
Yeah.
But it is horrible there. It's a horrible sensation, because I remember walking up to where there's supposed to be I think a little church bit, wasn't there, that's been pulled, it's come down, collapsed type thing.
Yeah.
And something that's not nice there. As soon as you get up to that bit far enough from there, and there's got these cross graves all the way along, where they had numbers, they didn't have people's names. And the worst thing bit there is that it made me overwhelmed, made me want to cry, and I felt stressed. And I just had to move away from that area, because something I did not like there, basically that bit. It's horrible.
It's a very odd graveyard, really, that one, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that's a bit like.
Sorry, go on. Sorry, Paul.
No, go on. No, go carry on.
The asylum's the new one's across the road, isn't it? That's the thing. The new one is there.
Right.
They haven't got a new building there, basically, right opposite. And William actually, for enough, was with us, and he ran up there to have a nose. And this bloke said, "What do you think you're doing?" And I thought I thought they were going to kidnap him and put him in there. I thought, come on, William, this way. Because he went right up to the gates, because you're not supposed to, because his house is there. But it's private, but he ran up to it to have a nose, so did I. I followed him to see what it was. And then you see these, it's another asylum, but do you know what I mean? So, but yeah.
Makes you wonder why they keep them so secretive, doesn't it?
Well, you don't want to get in there, do you? Because you might not come back out.
Oh, they definitely wouldn't let me out. I know that.
If you're going to go to places, let people know you're there, because I wish you might not come back.
leave a trail.
Yeah, exactly.
So people can follow you and find you.
Yeah.
So, Luke, what else did you get when you were there with Darren then?
I went with you, I think, that time, you and Jenny. Last
year, that's right.
I went with my mum last year, I think. Me and my mum went with him, yeah.
Very strange place.
It was raining that day. Down under the bushes.
Yeah, it's a very, very strange place, isn't it, there?
You wouldn't know it's there, though, would you, really, being truthful?
No.
Because literally down a path, do you know what I mean, down through this road, and it's just been cornered off. It's like they're trying to, slowly, the councils, looks like they're trying to get rid of it. Do you know what I mean? Cutting it off. Do you know what I mean? Slowly. And then you've got a field, haven't you, at the end? So people do walk round it. So that's when we was looking, and anything else, there's people walking through with their children, with their prams, and anything else that live round there. So do not country walk. It's not massive, but slowly they're trying to get rid of it. It looks like, if you ask me.
Wouldn't surprise you, would it? Really?
No.
It'll slowly be engulfed by something, won't it? You know, like they always do.
Yeah.
You know, the thing is, all the time they do it, they're just destroying history, aren't they? That's the problem.
Yeah.
And like as investigators we are, we're forever trying to catch up history, aren't we? You know, we look. You know, eventually we'll lose that history. We'll only be reading about it instead of being in it. You know, it's part of it when you're investigating it.
I think when they're about 5,000 that were killed, they killed there, well, buried there. Was it 5,000? Something like it's quite a high number, wasn't it? I think. Yeah, it's quite a high number. If it's 90, I'm sure it's 1971. I think it stopped burying there. I think.
Okay.
I know it's around my age. It was basically. I won't say how old, but around that age.
But St Lawrence's and Caterham was like that. The last actual count was 3,000 people, and it's probably about the size of Noah, I think. Might be a little bit bigger, and it's right in the middle of a golf course. So there's people playing golf around the gravestones. It's a real, because it's a sacred ground. They're not allowed to build anything on it. It has to stay as it is. You're obviously, there's a public footpath. You go there, and also in Caterham. Is it Caterham? Where is it? I think it's in Caterham. There's a very posh estate, you know, where it's gated and all of that. And to the side of it, I think it's called Greenacre. To the side of it, apparently, there's a hidden cemetery with gates. And once a year, the people on the estate go and clean the graveyard up, but nobody's ever allowed in it. Nobody's ever found it, other than they go there once a year and clean it up. We tried to find it and couldn't find it. We walked up and down around the estate, with people sort of coming off the estate following us, because although it's a public footpath, but they were very suspicious of us. You know how they walk past you and keep watching you as you walk past, and you think you're not here walking around, you're here to see what we're doing. Because we were going to try and find the entrance to the gates and then go back one night and go in there, because it's a massive part of the asylum. Apparently there's a few not famous people, but a few, you know, residents there that are well known, and the residents that live in the Green Park go there once a year and clean it, but the gates are permanently locked. So we will find it. We will get there eventually.
It's like the one down in Southsea, isn't there? There's one down Southsea that is actually called, you can't go in it. It's really weird. There's one down Fawcett Road, and then you go off Fawcett Road into, trying to think of the road now. It's hidden. I don't know if it's Jewish, but it's actually quite built up. Basically, there's two gates, but it's only small, this little cemetery, but nobody can go in it. It's really weird.
Strange, isn't it?
Yeah, I have to take you down there, Angela, and show you. I have to go over nose. Do you mean? Yeah,
that'll be you two in trouble then.
Yeah. It's literally a small road. It really is. I just go past it all the time. Do you know what I mean? At one point and everything else, but it was never open. Really weird.
It's a bit like Brookwood in Woking, which is a very famous graveyard. I think I've said before, they have World War One, World War Two, civilian, but the whole graveyard is full of CCTV. Everywhere you go, there's cameras. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I found
you go,
cemetery.
there's what?
The Jewish cemetery.
Yeah,
There's a Jewish cemetery. All right.
Oh, that's right then. It makes a change. And those ones on Highland Road. Yeah.
It might be worth a wander, mightn't it? It might be open during the day and closed. Don't know.
If you're doing it Wednesday, I'll come with you. Not tomorrow.
And then we see on the local news 2 women arrested in Jewish graveyard.
Because one up further it's one up on Highland Road, isn't there? Basically, a big one.
Yeah.
You can go on tours on that one, but I know that one's been there for years. That one little tiny one, basically, but nobody can go in it. That's the weird thing about it.
It says something about barbed wire, so maybe we can't get in there.
So it's got two
Good
gates.
luck.
Jump over it. No, you've got railway. You've got railway the other side. You can jump over the other side.
Jump on the railway line, yeah, and walk along.
Yeah.
If the goats don't get you, a train will.
Yeah.
Exactly. One or the other.
Either way.
Yeah. It's got like a school really, because the gates, like the old-fashioned gates used to have the wire, the metal, don't you, goes up like that.
Yeah.
That's what it is. They go up like that, quite in spikes, and then you've got these.
All
I think
right.
it's like one or two gates at one each end, basically. But it's only small. It's not big.
Yeah. It says 1881 on the gate as well.
Yeah.
Interesting.
There's a place.
See, you didn't know about. I was spinning my head. How did that just planted in my head a sudden? See? Yeah.
What I'll have to try and do is go down to this graveyard down here and do a live from there, because this is a really old graveyard down here, and it was very active during the war, because people used to go and hide in the crypts underneath during the bombings. So it's quite a place really. Because first time I went there, I said to Jen, "Why is the door there?" She said, "What are you on about?" I said, "The door was the other side." She said, no, the door's always been there. And when we asked the vicar, she said, "Oh yeah, the door was the other side, but they moved it round here for people to get into the church quicker during the raids, because otherwise they'd have to run a long way round the church to get in. So they moved the door to the front of the church."
Are yours open at night time then? They're quite open, your cemeteries up there then?
Yeah. Just walk in.
Ours are not. Down our way. One's not up the road from Angela's, not far from one, and they're locked.
Yeah, when it gets dark, they close the gate. You can't get in.
Yeah, 4 o'clock. They shut. As soon as it gets dark, that's it. Oof, shut.
See, ours don't have a gate on it. It's a church. And you walk past the church, and around the side is all the Commonwealth graves.
No, all of ours have got gates on them. You can't get in them.
Yeah. But this one you can, because this is where me and Jen stumbled across like a gravestone of a guy called Professor Swan. So we had to look him up, and he was the first inventor of the incandescent light bulb. He invented the actual light bulb before Watt, but just didn't have the money to put it out onto the market, and Watt took it over, and he got all the credit for it. But Professor Swan was the guy that developed the light bulb. So really interesting people in the graveyard. And then as you sort of walk through, over on the left-hand side is all the Commonwealth graveyards, your seamen, your airmen, the army, all of that type of stuff. A few times me and Jen have been over there, and we've left pretty quickly because there's been knocks and taps and what sounded like someone walking around.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So Jen's gone, I think we ought to go now, shouldn't we? We take Pops out, take Pops with us, make out we're walking the dog.
Yeah.
And even she's heading back out to the exit.
Yeah, but
she wants out. Yeah, she's off. She's never none of that.
She's first to the last.
And we're like following very closely behind and looking over your shoulder. But
I that feeling.
Yeah, we'll go down there one night and do a live from there. Show you around it. We'll take you down during the day and do a live down there during the day so you can see it. It's very pretty. The only thing is right at the very bottom on the left-hand side is where they bury the children, bless them. It's like a children's graveyard down the end. It's very sad. It's very sad when you walk down there. You know, but
they've got that in the one in we went to as well as a separate part.
Yeah, it's quite sad, isn't it, that one? Yeah, very sad. Anyway, what have you got planned for the weekend, boys? Anything?
Nothing planned, but we kind of just be spontaneous and do.
We'll find something.
We'll find something to do. Somewhere to go.
We all need to get together some stage, don't we?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're down for that. 100%. We'll just have to
sort of meet halfway. I'm sure. Get Paula and Luke down there. We'll meet halfway somewhere, and Julia and that, and have a bit of an investigation somewhere.
Yeah, or somewhere you guys know. We don't mind travelling. You know,
Waverley Abbey's quite good. I think we're on about going there by the end of the year, aren't we? Or has that been postponed now?
Who knows?
Because we seem to make a date and then that date goes past, or it's raining, or because it's so exposed out there when you go there. If it's pouring with rain, it's not very nice place to be. But it'd be interesting to get you there because there's a cave just down the road called Mother Lovebrum's Cave.
Okay.
And that's very haunted down there. And then into Waverley, you know, it's never failed to come up with something, is it, Angela, Luke?
No,
That's pretty
sometimes
good,
it's quiet, but there's always something.
Yeah, it can be quiet. And obviously that's where they thought they saw the dragon or whatever was flying around the ruins that night. But when it's a clear night there, you can see all sorts of things in the sky at night, can't you? Weird and wonderful things in the night sky. So we'll have to meet you down there.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
It's far in Farnham, so it's not a million miles for everybody, but it's a good place.
Yeah.
You know, it's well worth going for a few hours, isn't it, really? Have a wander around and in there to Riff. I think that's a 14th century abbey, that one.
Yeah, I think we watched some videos on one of your YouTube channels. I think you got some videos from there. We did watch.
That would have been Darren. Darren would have put that on there.
We did watch some videos on there, and it did look pretty good. So yeah,
it's quite creepy at night.
Yeah,
imagine.
You know, it's quite a few things that you think in the corner of your eye, think, oh, what was that? And that's where the tree, you touch the tree, and it's like the tree vibrates. It's a really strange tree. You know, and it has a 900-year-old hanging tree, I think, if I remember rightly, as well.
Yeah.
So, is it, Luke? Is it 900 years? Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
But it must, in its heyday, it must have been a huge abbey, mustn't it?
Yeah.
Must have spread huge distances. But there's a river at the back as well, you know, so the spirits, you know, anywhere there's water, you know, spirits can travel, can't they, through water and things like that. And we often wonder whether there's ley lines underneath it.
Yeah, I'm sure Julia discovered where it was. She had and we found the point.
So that'd be interesting to go to the point of where, I mean, we did table tipping in the middle of it on the grass. Remember, Luke?
Remember, yeah.
We tried it inside and it worked inside. And so we thought, I wonder, the grass would have been inside the abbey because it was that bigger size. So we tried to do table tipping outside in the grass and it blooming well worked. The table was going mad.
Wow.
So another good experiment to try. Don't always do it inside, try it outside.
Yeah.
You know, Angela has a very haunted table.
I had to bring that book, so I've got that book over there. It's got, which I showed Darren, didn't I, in hospital, with that map and everything else in there, and everything else for the abbey, everything else. It's an old book with the abbey. It's got a map, you know, the diagram, what it used to be. Plus, I ended up getting 2 postcards with soldiers on it and some monks. And they're old pictures, so I have got that in there, so I can bring them down and see if we can get any connection with them. Postcards.
Yeah.
Pictures. So,
so there's a date, boys. If we try and do it on a Saturday evening when everybody's available. You know, sometimes they want to do it on a Friday night, but not everybody's available on a Friday. People work, and you know, and you go straight from work to there, and it's a late night, and you know, some people have work on a Saturday morning, or you know, you have other commitments. So we try and do it on a Saturday when everybody's got no commitments.
Yeah.
You know, you could be there till 1-2 o'clock in the morning quite easily. Time just flies by when you're there.
Yeah, you get lost in time, don't you? I find that in every investigation you do, just the time just gets lost somewhere.
And you've got dogs, and you've got a dodge.
And it's strange that you lose that time.
Yeah, it is strange, really strange. Really strange.
You're doing a paranormal investigation in a building, a location, and you think, blimey, it's 10 o'clock already. Oh, it's 12:30. It's only 10 o'clock a little. You know, is it spirit changing the time, manipulating the time, or does the time just really fly by? I don't know. It does seem to go very quickly, doesn't it, time?
Yeah.
I think you enjoy yourself too much. That's what it is. And you set into that mindset and you're like, oh, what's going on?
Especially when you get activity, isn't it? When it all starts to kick off, you know, time becomes irrelevant, doesn't it? Time is what we make it.
Yeah. Absolutely, yeah.
You know, we're the only ones that make time.
Yeah.
I think the only time is that sometimes not enough time. Sometimes
it just starts to kick off, and then that's the end of the evening, isn't it? You know, you're
Yeah.
thinking, oh no,
Yeah.
you know. But then if you stay all night, I don't know whether the boys still get this. Sometimes you stay over, sleep over, but the energy drops off halfway through the night because everybody's tired, and you know, normally energy starts to waver away, and when everybody starts to wake in the morning, the energy comes back up again. So you get that lull of 2 or 3 hours, maybe 4 hours, when nothing really happens. But
I think with Darren, wasn't it? One time is that he didn't used to like to do it after 12 o'clock, didn't he? Because he used to say it used to be quite bad, the energy in that place.
Yeah.
To avoid it, didn't he? We always used to leave before 12 because he said it used to turn.
A few times, me and him, when he was there, me and him looked at each other and went, something's not right. And he would say, right, let's go. Everybody out. You go in as a team and come out as a team. Don't leave anybody behind.
No.
But it's the midnight because lots of people use it. They do filming.
Hello.
Hi, good evening for Tate Exploration. Thank you for tuning in tonight. You know, they use it for filming, and we know for a fact people do chanting over there because we've actually been there where they were there doing it. So who knows what's being summoned up? And at midnight, like Darren used to say, that's enough. You know, he would say something's not right. And a couple of times I looked at him and he looked at me, and we knew what each other were thinking. And I'd start to pack my gear up and he'd say, right, let's go. And we'd be heading out.
You can feel it when the energy changes. When the energy changes, you can feel that, can't you?
Yeah, Darren was very susceptible to change, atmospheric change. He would sense it before anybody else.
Yeah.
He'd say, are you getting this? And I'd say, yeah, it's not right, is it? No, we need to go. You know, we did a human pendulum there once and had this thing come in, and he was saying to it, you're not human, are you?
Yeah, Jim,
I know you're not human.
Mm.
And had to break the circle because but we don't know who's chanting what over there or who's bringing what through. So it's, you know, it's a good place to go. It's exciting, but
we'll come down.
Definitely we'll arrange that, or we'll arrange somewhere, you know, meet halfway if we can all make it. Make sure that we can all go together, even if we find a venue that we can hire that costs us quite cheap, and we could just do a team event. I mean, there's one down here. It's a 14th century pub, and it literally is a really, really small pub. So probably 15 at the most, but that's like 150 quid for the night. So it's quite expensive. I know it's a tenner each, isn't it, for 15 people, but and literally it is. Me and Jem went there, and that's where I got scratched by the dog there, in downstairs in the bar, because it dates back one of the very first pubs in Oxted. And Oxted was quite famous for Henry VIII and all of that, travelling backwards and forwards across. So when they built the pub, they built the pub, and then they built a really steep road outside it. And the road was so steep that when the cars eventually came along, couldn't get up it. So what they had to do was, so the pub would have been above ground. So when they dropped the road, so the ground floor bar would have been the cellar underneath. But because they dropped the road, the cellar became the ground floor bar. Because they dropped the road past the window. That's how steep the road was. And then when you go in there, there's all sorts of things go on in there. Dogs, spirit dogs. And then you could go upstairs, and then there's another bar above you and all of that. And, you know, that's an interesting place. But obviously that's 150 quid for the night, you know. But if it's something that we want to do, we'll sort something out, meet halfway somewhere and find a venue, and
definitely.
we'll chip in and spend the evening there, all of us together, sort of thing. With Julia and Luke and that there, Angela and Paula, and maybe Dora. We can get Dora there. Anyway, so all's quiet at the weekend then. We're all having a weekend off, are we?
Yeah. Okay.
I think so. Like we said, something might come up. We got a few places we want to go and scope out. So we might do that on the weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go back over the footage I took Friday in the circle and see if I can see anything on there. So it'll take me a while to go back through that. So if there's no questions, Andrew, any questions or?
There was one more comment we had a while ago, but we moved on, so I didn't put it up.
I've had a personal. So Jennifer Andrews is. I had a personal up close sighting of a black triangle. However, crop circles fascinate me. See, that's a really good thing, isn't it? You know, crop circles. You know,
She'd probably be interested in the Secret Vault. We watched the Secret Vault, and he used to do. Matt Williams is his name, basically. He used to be did the BBC base at one point with trying to think of the bloke now's name, but yeah, he did crop circles. He used to make them years ago, and if you look his name up, he did a lot on the TV and everything else. He was a very interesting bloke. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, he does now. He does actually urbexing into old houses and things like that, all around in factories and things like that. That's what we usually watch. But yeah, it should be interesting if she looks up Secret Vault. She'd be interested.
Nice.
He does, yeah, very good.
Well done, Paula. That'd be interesting for her to have a look, wouldn't it? She's interested into that.
Yeah. Yeah, Matt Williams, his name is Secret Vault.
Forsaken Explorations. Matt says something.
Matt's awesome. Matt Awesome, was it? Something like that. Yeah.
Matt is awesome, yeah.
Yeah, he is. So he knows him as well. Yeah, he's very good. He does lives actually, basically on a I think it goes on to Urban Legends on a Tuesday. He does basically. Sometimes we watch him as well. There's a group of them do a lot of. Do you know what I mean, urbexing around basically, and they do Urbegeddon, it's called now. Basically, they go off and they'll meet different people. So yes,
interesting. Have to look at that up.
Yeah, he's very good.
Yeah, well. So if there's nothing else on there, we'll say thank you for tuning in tonight. Thank you for sending your questions in, and hopefully we answered it. A bit late on the crop circles, but I'm sure we'll come up with that subject again. So do come back on again. And we could do a bit of research in there. I'm sure the boys are going to run out and make some crop circles over the weekend.
Yeah, why not?
Luke's going to take his doll for a walk. Why does that doll move, Luke?
It moved earlier on the stream.
Oh, did it? All right.
Yeah.
I thought it did. I thought I noticed it was a different position.
But you could see it. You could see it behind him, couldn't you? When we first started.
Now it's had a drink.
Yeah.
Probably trying to see around your hair, Luke. Have you had a haircut?
No.
I want to see what we're up to. That's what it is and what we're talking about.
Yeah. If you get a chance, have a listen to Graham's recording and see what you think of it. We'll put it on the chat, then stick it on the chat. See what you think about it. Give us your ideas, what you think. It's quite an interesting recording, really.
I've listened to some of these. It's quite good, actually. Some of these recordings.
He does get some good recordings. Yeah. I don't think he tries. I think he just gets it. You know. Sometimes that's how it works, isn't it? Really.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, Friday night we did some recordings, and we've got a bloke shouting out "Get out" in the background on one of the recordings. So, you know, I'm a big favourite of EVPs. You got to try them, and you got to keep trying these different things, keep experimenting.
Yeah.
It could be that bloke that actually possessed you. See, it could have been him telling him to get out.
I do wonder that. I'm hoping with the video camera running, it's caught something in that circle.
Yeah,
that's what I'm hoping, which will be good evidence, really, what went on.
Yeah.
So, if there's nothing else, it's everybody have a safe week. Oh
well.
Have you ever been to our sister, Alistair Crowley's house in Cornwall? Any experiences? Angela's been to Alistair Crowley's house.
Yes, it took forever to find it, but when we did get in there, yes, basically a derelict building, but there was in like the main room, in one corner, it was sort of. I felt like I was lifting off the ground. I haven't felt that before. I wasn't just sort of swaying side to side. I felt like I was being dragged upwards. And yeah, it was really, I don't know, it didn't feel scary, but there was lots of different feelings in there, and it was just quite a cool place to be, actually. I'd quite like to go back there, but whether I'd be able to find it again, I've got an idea of where it is, but yeah.
I think that's where I watched the video, and you actually come off the floor, didn't you? It lifts you up.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and there was something about the wind in there. There was sort of wind in certain places and not others. Like I'd stood by the window and you couldn't feel anything, and then you moved back and my hair's sort of going all over the place. But yeah, that was
Is
an
it a listed building? Is it a listed building, do you know?
I don't know. But it's really remote. It's sort of there's so much brambles and like bushes and everything around it, and sort of high walls. So getting into it is like a bit of a battle. You need like a machete. I think there's even an old car outside as well, an old vehicle outside, or maybe two.
Where you see the old cars and outside places like that.
It's quite creepy, isn't it, when you see that?
Yeah.
I think that puts a bit of relevance on someone living there, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You see a car there, you think, ooh.
And there were sorts of markings all over the walls and on the floors. There's like pentagrams and stuff, and there's a fireplace. I'm sure there was sort of something moving in the fireplace, but I can't remember. And I think loads of people gone there, and they'd like put their initials, like "we was here" kind of thing. And obviously Darren had to leave our mark on the wall, so that's there somewhere.
But go on the YouTube, South Coast Ghost YouTube channel. I think that's on, isn't it, Angela?
Yeah, it should be there.
Yeah,
somewhere.
go for it. Go for it. You know, say Angela's been there with Darren, but I think if you check out South Coast Ghost video, I'm sure Darren would have put it on there. The Alistair Crowley, he was really pleased that he found it. Because it's someone he's read about a lot. You know, he knew a lot about him, didn't he?
Yeah.
And he was really chuffed in finding the house. I remember that. But check out the YouTube channel, see if it's on there.
Yeah.
I think it might well be on there. And if you look at the bit where Angela's in the corner, I forget what she said. She did something, and then it's like she's actually levitating off the floor, like she's actually lifting up. Wow. It's really strange, real strange watch, that bit.
Was it scary when it happened?
No, I didn't feel scared, no. But then I think it got to a point where I thought, I think we've been here a bit long now. I think we should probably go. Because other people are coming and going, and I think they'd been there quite often. They seem to know about it. And I don't know if they did rituals there or they did something there, but yeah.
Interesting.
It was.
Right. Okay. So thank you for tuning in tonight. I hope it was interesting about our investigations the boys had, and myself and Andrew and all the others. So it only remains for us to say thank you for tuning in and sending in your questions. And go to the Alistair Crowley house. Give us a shout when you've done that.
Yeah.
And come on here and explain what you found and where you found it and what happened and your experiences. Come on and let us all know. We'd be interested to see. So only remains for me to say thank you for tuning in. Thank you for your questions. And we'll see you all soon next Monday. Bye.
And if you're free on Saturday and you're around the fair area, if you head down to the Bugle Hotel, and there's a clairvoyant and psychic evening.
Ooh, very spooky. I wonder who's doing that.
You can find details on the South Coast Ghost website. Not the website, the Facebook page.
So come down. Come and meet us. We'll be there. Angela will be there. So if you're not doing anything, come down. Paul is going.
Yep.
Wow. So what about you boys? Fancy a trip to
Titchfield?
Titchfield. Very haunted pub. Really haunted pub.
It's a very pretty village as well.
Was it Berg Hotel? Was it Berg Hotel? So it was called
Bugle.
Like that.
Bugle Hotel.
Like
yeah. So we'll all be down there. What about you, Luke? Fancy a trip to Titchfield?
No. I'm actually going to Waverley Abbey on Saturday.
Oh yeah. Who are you going there with?
Got invited by another group, I think.
Yeah. That's good.
What group's that? Not Sindels, is it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Take your haunted doll with you.
Yeah.
Make friends.
Yeah.
Just make sure you're safe down there then.
Good. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So it only remains for us to say good night. Have a very, very safe week, and we'll see you next Monday. Take care.
Right.
Bye.